Welcome back to STL TV Live. I'm Ivy Hartman, and joining me in the studio now is Amy Granat and Matthew Strauss, and they're here to talk about a new exhibition opening this week at White Flag Projects Gallery, which is right at Kings Highway in Manchester, basically.
Yeah, right next to Earl Scheib Auto Body.
Well, that's a nice landmark.
Or the Jiffy Lube is also right there. Yeah.
But it's full of very quality exhibits, and Amy actually is a St. Louis native, and you are bringing with you an exhibit with a medium in terms of film. Talk about your exhibit.
Well, I'll be showing a lot of film and video.
Okay.
And 16mm film is my primary medium, so it was used in a lot of educational films. Like a long time ago, people might remember it from that. So that's usually where my practice begins, I guess, with that material.
That's got to be tricky to come by equipment and film nowadays, is it?
Well, in New York City, I'm very lucky. There's a lab not too far from me that will process the film in one day. It's actually in New York City. There's a place where I can get it done like the same day I can get it developed. It's amazing.
Well, that's one good reason to not live in St. Louis, I guess, or just be in New York for that.
The projectors are all over eBay.
That's a great point. And Matt, you're a great supporter of Amy and her work, along with many other artists. Talk about what is one of your favorite things that will be on display at White Flag.
Well, I think it would be hard to pick out one thing in the exhibition that would be a favorite, because we've really constructed it around the idea of introducing her work to St. Louis. It's a survey of everything she's really done since she left. This is 10 years of work pretty much on display, and we've taken that approach, and it's very even in that way. If I had to pick a favorite, it would probably be Lines in the Sand, which is a two-channel film that she made here in St. Louis of someone literally just drawing in the sand, and it's set to a kind of merengue soundtrack that's nice. I
saw the images of that online on your website, and we will see them coming up, and we're looking at some of the images that you have in your repertoire already. So we talked about favorites, Amy, but how does it feel to come back, and this is your debut in St. Louis? You've been in New York and all over the world, Germany and everything, but this is your first time exhibiting in St. Louis.
I'm very excited. Yeah.
And family and everybody, so it's a great excuse to come home because you still have relatives here in St. Louis?
I do. I'm close to my family and they're in town, and I love that I'm able to share the exhibition with them. Some of my family, they haven't been to an exhibition yet.
Right.
So it's really exciting for it to be local. It feels great.
16mm film. Why choose that medium?
That was around my house growing up. It's really, I went to school and I studied painting.
I'm just kidding.
I know, but I studied painting in college, but I was just sort of playing around with equipment that I had in my house, and when I used the 16mm is really a physical material, so I sort of started to mess with it and use it almost like a little, very tiny little canvas, like draw and scratch and paint. But when I projected it, it could become huge, and it was like these paintings were coming to life. So I got really excited by that, and that's, I started doing that when I was about 18 or 19, and never really left.
That's really interesting. Yeah. The self-discovery of that, and to even the way you describe it is very intriguing.
Thank you.
I like that. Now, Matt, talk about the opening that we've got coming up Thursday night.
Well, it's the first time we're doing an opening on a Thursday, so we're excited about that. And, have any opportunity to have an artist of Amy's caliber that actually has a connection to St. Louis, very, very exciting for us to have the chance to introduce her to what is her, hometown audience. And the show looks fantastic. We've just kind of gotten the last pieces in place over this weekend, and it's constantly changing through this process, and Amy's been very sensitive to how it's been installed, and the results are incredible.
By sensitive, he doesn't mean high maintenance.
No.
If you want to see Amy Granat
yeah.
on display at White Flag Projects, you can see it on display from September 10th all the way through October 22nd. That opening reception is Thursday, September 8th from 6 to 8 p.m. And the gallery, as such it is located at 4568 Manchester Avenue. For all the details, call 531-3442 or log online to their website, whiteflagprojects.org, full of great information about Amy's exhibit and other upcoming exhibits. We've got a little bit more to tell you about, a very special screening of one of Amy's projects and art projects. That's terrible.
No, it's great.
Art project, like she's a student.
Okay.
Coming up at the Tivoli. You'll want to stay tuned to find out more about that. And we're going to introduce you to tell you more about White Flag Projects itself. So stick around. And if you want to keep in touch with us and all the great things going on around St. Louis, we always tell our viewers, and maybe you guys are in tune with this, following us on Facebook, you got to tweet, so we're on Twitter. And then we also stream all of our stuff on YouTube and live through our website at stltv.net. We'll be right back with more with Matt and Amy in just a few minutes and more St. Louis events, so don't go anywhere. Hi there and welcome back to STL TV Live. I'm Ivy Hartman, and still with me in the studio, luckily for us, is Amy Granat and Matt Strauss. Matt is the founder of White Flag Projects, and he's brought in Amy from New York to put on exhibit one of her 16 millimeter art projects.
It's okay. It's all good.
They are all good.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing
But
because
anyway.
on the internet it just doesn't do it justice. So we're really excited to have you in St. Louis.
Thank you. It's difficult to document my work, so it's really best to experience the show and see it in person.
And I think that,
Yeah.
don't you feel like, Matt, that I think each person art is subjective, so each person has their own tastes and likes and dislikes. But I am obviously drawn to the video component of things, so it's got to be really cool in terms of audio and visual to see a 16 millimeter film projected.
Well, yeah, and you know, there's a diversity of technology being used in Amy's shows. I mean, there is 16 millimeter being projected, but there's also large scale video projection. We have things running on tube televisions. I mean, I think there's probably almost 10 films in the show at this point. So, you know, the diversity of technology is one part of the spectacle, but I mean, really the scale and the connectivity between the work that Amy's chosen to present here, I think, are the primary points of interest, probably.
Really exciting. Well, speaking of that, you mentioned film, and you are going to be debuting one of her films at the Tivoli Theater in October.
Well, it won't be debuting. It was actually in the Whitney Biennial in 2008, and it's a collaborative film she did with another filmmaker named Drew Heisler. It's a very long. It's 220 minutes, I think. Is that right?
200 minutes.
200 minutes. Sorry.
That's all right.
And,
that's a true feature-length film.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a long film, and it's a 2-channel film they made based on the Goethe novel, The Sorrows of Young Werther, and they've just I mean, I don't want to compress this in a bad way, but they've replaced the female kind of object of desire in the novel with a motorcycle, and have
Ooh, interesting.
and simultaneously both Amy and Drew, they filmed you filmed the entire narrative
Side by side.
at the
so
same
it's
time.
2 screens. It's the same thing from 2 different perspectives.
Being-
Exactly.
Being a male and a female perspective, or
Male,
just
female,
coincidentally.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
okay.
Also, sort of maybe like a interior, exterior kind of perspective. You could
When the biennial
interpret-
was reviewed initially, it was one of the pieces that almost every reviewer, the New Yorker especially, picked out as being maybe the essential piece in that entire exhibition, which is the big, you know, survey every 2 years of the newest things in American art. So it's a big deal to be able to screen it here. It's the first time it's been screened theatrically, and I'm just excited. We just literally got this book this morning, so it's exciting.
So
Yeah.
you're the first to hear at St. Louis.
That's
It's
true.
October 17th at the Tivoli Theater. Of course, you can always go to White Flag.
And it's a free screening. Is the other thing. That's
Perfect.
yeah, it's free, and first come, first
Serve.
Yeah.
That's right. If you want a seat, get there early. And what time, do you know what time it'll be showing?
Amy is going to introduce the film at 7 o'clock,
Okay.
and it'll start shortly thereafter, and 200 minutes later it'll be over.
Super, and you're going to be in town for that.
Hours. Yeah.
Yay! Another opportunity to meet Amy. We really want you to go, though, to the opening opening ceremony celebration of Amy's exhibit Thursday, September 8th. That's this, and then also her exhibit is showing September 10th through October 22nd, and that opening reception is from 6 to 8 on the 8th. For more information, call 531-3442 or log on to whiteflagprojects.org. White Flag Projects, for those St. Louisans who aren't familiar with who you are and what you do, give us a little background on that.
We're a nonprofit art gallery that was established in 2006 with the idea of bringing the kinds of art that weren't regularly getting exposure in St. Louis to this audience. And certainly the kind of experimental filmmaking that Amy's engaged with fits that bill. When we can get someone who's, in the permanent collection of the Museum of Modern Art at the same time, that's always a plus for us. We do 6 exhibitions a year. We do a lot of special projects. Later in October, we'll be doing a show of artist-made skateboards for a couple of days before the next group exhibition that'll open in November, and it's every 6 weeks pretty much. And
perfect.
yeah,
6 shows every 6 weeks. Check it out at whiteflagprojects.org, because it's a nonprofit.
That's the legit part of it.
That's it. I want to thank you both for being with us today. We learned a lot. I'm really excited about the exhibit, and I hope that I'll get to come by while you're there. Otherwise, we'll get to see it and reminisce about meeting Amy on STL TV. You can keep up with what's going on around St. Louis by friending STL TV on Facebook, following us on Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube channel. I know Amy's going to share the YouTube channel with her friends so that they can see her interview, the other I word, interview, all the way over in New York. And we stream everything live through our website, also stltv.net. Stick around. We got more show coming up right after this.